Okay. Welcome, Nicole Rothman from Lasell College. Hi, you're our first Skype session for the year. Very excited that you guys were willing to join us. So we are, we don't have student participation right now, but for the benefit of parents and students who are able to view this later, I'd love to hear more about Lasell College. I can tell you a little bit about Southampton High School. I know that you did say that you grew up on Long Island, so you also actually have a real great familiarity with Southampton, so the village itself. So that's really nice when we talk with college admissions representatives who actually know where our high school is located and have some sense of our community. So, I don't know how long ago you've been here, but the community has changed a bit. We are probably about now maybe up to 40% Hispanic, and we are hovering around 35 to 40% free and reduced lunch. So it's not that typical thing that people think of the Hamptons. We're certainly not that. We're a very diverse school, and our high school's growing. I mean, we're a very small high school, but it's still growing. We have 50 more students in the building this year, and we have a fully functioning wet lab, which is very exciting for our students who are involved in ocean kinds of studies on the east end of Long Island. We have a planetarium, which is, again, very unusual on Long Island. We're very fortunate. And we also have a dual language program where many of our students have started studying Spanish in kindergarten or first grade. And so this year's senior will be the first cohort that will graduate having taken all the way through advanced placement, Spanish culture and literature. So wow. They will have 7 credits of Spanish before they graduate. 7 credits of just Spanish language plus 3, they'll have about 10 credits of Spanish language when they graduate, and they really are biliterate in Spanish and English, which is really, again, something that's pretty unique, I think, to high schools. So that's just a little bit about us. So I'd love to hear about you, and I have some questions, if you don't cover it, just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you. So Lasell College is located in Newton, Massachusetts. We're about 8 miles outside of Boston, located in between 2 T stops. So the T is kind of like an NYC subway. You hop on the T, you're in downtown Boston in about 45 minutes. So it gives our students really great access to the city, but still be in that small community. We're located right in the middle of a neighborhood. So probably like the neighborhood you all live in. We're located right in the middle of it. We have residential people.
Oh no. I just lost my sound. I heard residential people, then we just lost sound. What happened there? Hey! Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I know. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay, we're good?
Yes.
We also have graduate programs as well. We have over 40 different programs that our students can study. Students double major, minor. We want them to expand their horizons. We don't want them to just feel like they're stuck in their one major. We want them to pick different ideas, majors, to make themselves more marketable for graduation. We have programs in business, communication, fashion is one of our niche programs here. We have programs in exercise science and athletic training, and education, just to name a few of them.
Right.
We lost my train of thought.
So what would you say are your most popular majors, just to get you back to?
Yeah, I mean, fashion is definitely one program we're getting up for. But then psychology is a pretty big program, business, education.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and now I remember what I was going to
Okay,
say.
there you go.
So our teaching method here is connected learning. We truly believe that hands-on learning is the best way for students to be learning in the classroom. Sitting in a classroom reading a textbook, taking an exam is not going to be the way that a student really learns to understand material, but learn how to apply that material. So we want students to ultimately always be applying the material that they're learning in the classroom to real-life experiences. So whether it's group projects, lectures, field trips, we're trying to figure out ways for students to really truly be hands-on in their learning. And all of our students are required to do at least one internship before they graduate. Depending on major, it might be 2 internships, a year long and a semester long. But they are required to do that one internship in their major for kind of that culminating hands-on experience.
That's great.
Attention students, there's currently the music challenge happening.
Okay. Can you hear me?
And then just on the student side of everything, over 17 Division III sports, over 40 different clubs and organizations, a lot for students to do. We have student events that happen on campus, but we also have Boston right at our fingertips.
Right, right. No shortage of events there in Boston.
Definitely not.
Are students required to live on campus?
No, they're not.
Okay.
But over 90% of our students do live on campus.
Oh, that's great. That's important, especially for students coming, like if our students coming from Southampton, it's really, and a school that's near a city, it is conceivable that there could be students who are commuting, and you know, it's nice to know that on the weekends the campus doesn't empty.
Yes, absolutely. I would not consider us a school that students are going home on every single weekend.
Right.
By any means, students are here, whether they're in Boston or on campus. There's always something going on for students. During the first 6 weeks of this fall semester, and then the first 4 weeks of the spring semester, we have continuous programming. So we have continuous things going on every single night, which I think is really important for the fall semester. Students getting acclimated to campus, learning the ins and outs of Lasell. Really important for them to be involved in knowing what's going on, so they don't feel like they just have to sit in their rooms.
Right.
It's a great way for them to make friends when they're coming to college to make friends.
Right.
So it definitely helps a lot.
That's great. You said you had about 40 organizations, clubs, and things.
I got that number wrong. It's over 70.
Okay. All right. See, there you go.
Yeah, so over 70 different clubs and organizations. So everything from the hobby-based clubs, community service is really big on our campus, but then also major-based clubs as well.
Do you have Greek life?
We don't have Greek clubs.
Okay. Okay. You did mention the internship. I think that's a great, especially the fact that it's required, because as students, you know, just as our seniors, we want to graduate students who are ready to participate fully as adults in college. It's really a wonderful requirement that when they graduate college that they're actually out in the workforce or experiencing in the real world their major. Do you have study abroad opportunities for students?
Yes, we do. We have different study abroad opportunities for our students, over 70 different programs for students to choose from in a bunch of different countries. We'll hit every continent. So a lot of our students will go to Australia, Europe, just to name 2 places.
Okay.
And they are able to do their internship abroad if they wanted to.
Oh, that's great. What would you say the average class size is, and like the student to faculty ratio?
Student faculty ratio is about 14 to 1. All classes are capped at 25.
Oh, okay.
So
including freshman classes?
I'm sorry?
Including freshman classes?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and so the average class size is about 17.
Okay, that's wonderful. And the 1 to 14 faculty ratio, is that also for freshmen or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we don't have big lecture halls.
Okay.
We have kind of one auditorium space that might be used for a class, but all classes are capped at 25. They might hit 30 if there's a real need for those students to be in there. But like I said, all classes are capped. To keep the students, because of the hands-on learning that we like to do, you can't do that in a lecture of 100 students.
Right, that's true. That makes sense. So what is life like for students at Lasell on the weekends? I mean, certainly you're near Boston, so I would assume that many students take advantage of Boston. I mean, they would be crazy not to. But how about on the campus itself? What's the campus like on the weekends?
Campus is bustling. I think that's a really great word to describe it. There's always something going on, whether it's a comedian coming to campus, a speaker, our activities board is putting on an event going on outside, or in DeWitt Hall, which is one of our kind of big spaces that students will hold events in, there's always something going on. So a student is never, unless they want to be actively sitting in their room, you never feel the need to have to just go sit in your room.
Right, okay.
And students, they keep their doors open in the dorm rooms. It's a very free-for-all, because the students want to be friends with each other. They want to be making friends. So I would say there's always something going on.
Okay, that's great. What percent of students would you say are out of state?
It's
Roughly.
about 50-50.
Okay. You know, I'm not asking you to hold to any of these statistics. I'm just kind of curious. Do you track demonstrated interest?
So part of that is we do encourage students to interview if
Mhm.
they are interested. The interview is needed in the application process, and we do see if the student comes to campus, if they attend an open house, come for a campus tour. But something that I'll do when I'm on the road in Long Island is I will meet with students and interview students on the road,
Okay.
so that they don't have to, if they're unable to get to campus, because it is a long trip. I'm on the island in the fall for about 2 months, and then on and off in the spring. So I encourage students, I reach out to all of my students and say, hey, I'm going to be there. If you're interested in interviewing, let's schedule an interview.
Okay.
And so I'll do that while I'm on the road, meet them at a Starbucks, or if they want to meet in their high school, whatever's easier for them.
Okay, that's great. So, academic profile. What's the academic profile of the student that you're looking for this year or historically?
Yeah, so we are test optional, so we do not require the SAT or the ACTs. We do require it for 2 of our majors. We require it for athletic training and education.
Okay.
Typically, our student is around a 3.1 GPA. We do recalculate our GPAs based on the 4 core subjects of math, science, and health and social studies. So we're looking for about a 3.1 average SAT score. If the student does choose to send it, it's about a 1070 on the new SAT.
Okay. That's important to know too, that we often tell students about the recalculation, that the grade point average that's represented on our transcript, just as all the other transcripts from all the other high schools that you receive, that many colleges do, make determinations about what courses they feel are important. And like you said, English, math, social studies, science, you don't include foreign language in that? Is that not considered? Okay, which is unfortunate for our students who have 10 credits in foreign language.
Yeah.
But it's important for our students to know when they're going through high school that that's what schools are looking for. So, all right, I was going to ask you about the foreign language. Would you include credits when you're looking at a student's transcript? So I'm sure other schools do this as well, where students earn credit prior to high school, maybe math or science. Would those be included in that grade point average, or would it make a difference that they earned it as an 8th grader?
So
it's still a high school credit, you know, it shows up on their
yeah,
transcript.
So what we'll do is, so if a student, let's say, I remember when I was in middle school and high school, I was still there when it was math A, math B.
Right.
So I took the first half of math A as an 8th grader, or the full math A, and then I took half of it as a freshman, and then sat for the Regents exam in January.
Okay.
We wouldn't necessarily use the 8th grade grades in the recalculation. We would look at that as, okay, they fulfilled the graduation requirement.
Okay.
Because some students might take integrated algebra as a freshman, excuse me.
Right, right.
So we'll look to make sure that they've completed graduation requirements, but we won't use the 8th grade grade in a recalculation.
Okay. So again, it's, you know, it's just important for students to know, and that's pretty much follows the NCAA, how the NCAA calculates grades. So, you know, again, when students are looking to say, do I have a 3.1? If I recalculate it, they need to know what they're factoring in. So if you had a student who was kind of on the fringe, somebody who was a little bit below what you're looking for, do you have any recommendations for that student as far as what might help tip the scale and make Lasell a little bit more interested, where purely statistics they might not be, or they might be just below?
So we review holistically. So we are looking at, yes, the GPA, and if they do need to submit test scores, we will look at the test scores. We tell students that they have an interest in submitting test scores. If they are above our average, they're more than welcome to submit the test scores. But we thoroughly read through the essay, we read through letters of recommendation, we'll read through the activities. So if the student, maybe they explain in their essay that maybe math isn't their strongest subject, and they explain that and they talk about all the resources that they utilize
Right,
thing.
right.
I like when I see that in a student because I like that they can almost take responsibility for
Mhm.
it, especially from the letters of recommendation as well. So if a letter says they went extra help every single week, they sought me out for questions before and after class, and I know that they really tried, it's just not reflecting well. I'll use that in my review of a student.
Okay, great. What would you say is the best kept secret about Lasell?
I don't know, I really have to think about that. The best kept secret. I think it would definitely be the community feel that they get when they get here. Because I think that every school will say that they have a really great community feel, and then I could say we're in the middle of the community.
Right.
But then I think once they get here and they really see how truly involved not just the other students and the professors are, but all the faculty and staff that are here, we all truly want a student to succeed. So we will do everything in our power to help a student in any way. So I think that the real home feeling that you get when you come to Lasell.
Oh, that's nice. And it's not a big school, right? What?
No, we're a small school.
Okay. So anything else? How about, I know there's not a small price tag. So it's what, about 33? Is that what it is?
So total cost of attendance is $49,400.
Okay, so that includes housing.
That includes tuition, room and board, and fees.
Okay.
And so we do give out merit-based scholarships.
Okay.
We do give the scholarships solely based on the GPA. So I get a lot of times asked if I don't submit my SAT scores, will I lose out on merit-based scholarship money? And the answer is no.
Okay.
The past number of years we have awarded scholarships based on the GPA, and we continue to do that. So the student's SAT score has no bearing on that.
That's great.
So if a student is at about a 3.1 or higher, they should be eligible for scholarship money. Our scholarships range from $8,000 to $16,000.
And is there a scale that students can kind of estimate, or it depends on the number of students with those grade point averages? There's a pool of money and you just kind of figure, like if they have a 3.5, they get a certain amount of money, or is it just determined each year?
So if you have a 3.5, you're eligible for a $16,000 scholarship.
Okay.
And I believe that's available on our website.
Okay, okay, great. Anything else you want to tell me about Lasell? How about job placement, career, people when they graduate?
Yeah, so over 90% of our students are either employed or in grad school within 6 months of graduation.
Okay.
And they're either employed, a lot of them are employed with places that they might have interned with, but then also places that they make connections with. A lot of our professors will bring students to networking events or bring networking events to them. We host a number of days on campus. We have days, there's hospitality day, comm day, fashion day, where we bring professionals into Lasell.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do a keynote speaker. So we have our hospitality day actually tomorrow.
Okay.
Comm day is next week, and then fashion day will be a little bit later. And so we'll bring those people to campus. We have a networking event for students in that major that they can network with professionals. And then there's always a great keynote speaker. So this year it's one of the VPs of ABC
Okay.
for comm day.
Mm-hmm.
We've had in the past, and I always mess up his name, from Spotlight.
Okay.
The main person from the Spotlight team that
Okay.
investigated the pre-scandal in
Mhm.
Boston. He came last year for comm day. We've had executives from Keegan's Son for hospitality day. So we've had a number of people come to campus to speak with our students.
All right, that's great. Anything else that you can think of?
That's everything from me.
Yeah, I'm not seeing, I think we pretty much covered. How about your demographics? It's not a very diverse campus? Am I
We
correct?
have 10% international students.
Okay.
And then about 25% international and multicultural students. So we do have a diverse campus. We have a ton of student groups that represent different cultures and different whatnots on campus. So we're constantly celebrating that.
Right.
So we'll do a ton of celebrations if there's a holiday coming up. part of the Black History Month celebration we were having. So we have a ton of events to celebrate diversity on our campus.
Okay.
In terms of males to females, we are about 65-35 females to males, which is on par with the national average.
Right. Guys would want to know that. And you're not affiliated with any religious, you have no religious affiliation. I didn't think so. I don't know, I think that pretty much covers it. Is there any, do you have any questions for us? Are you the person who would be reading the applications from this area? Okay. All right, that's important to know too. And is it permissible or suggested for students to contact you directly or not?
Sorry, you paused for a little bit.
Okay. So I just said the fact that you will be the admissions person who's going to be reading our students' applications. Would you encourage students to reach out to you directly, or would you prefer that they wait to be contacted by you? I mean, I know that you said that an interview is recommended. Would you like me to share your contact information? I don't automatically do that. Okay.
In terms of reaching out, it's completely up to the student. If a student wants to email me and introduce themselves and say I plan on applying, that's great. I love to know that. But typically, in terms of when I'm back on the island, more in the fall, I'll send out an email to all of my students.
Okay.
Introducing myself, and if they know they want an interview, they can email me back. Or if they've come and visited us, or they've heard about us and they said, hey, I heard that you encourage interviews, I'd love to schedule one.
Right.
That's fine as well.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, I think that kind of covers it. So thank you very much. Thank you for participating. You're the first one that we've done this year, and I'm really thrilled that you were willing to participate. I apologize for the empty room, but it has nothing to do with Lasell College. It really was our March Madness week and, you know, an assembly that was taking place. But certainly the fact that you gave us permission to record helps parents and students later on. So if you have any questions or anything, or, you know, please hold on to my contact information as well. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, and have a great day. Good luck with this college admission season.
Thank you.
Thanks.